this is Sarah from Sassy Sarah Reads, and I'm no longer a vampire and other paranormal things queen. The link for my new blog is down below. But let's hop into my first ever monthly wrap-up for the month of August. So I read a total of 9 books. The first book I read, not the first book, but like my favorite book of the month was A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I was really shocked by a lot of the things that happened in this book because I was pleasantly surprised because I haven't been spoiled, and I would like to keep it that way, so don't even tell me what happens in the TV show. So I had a lot of problems with like characters like Sansa and Catelyn Stark, but then the characters like Daenerys Targaryen and Arya and Tyrion Lannister, they really like pushed this novel to like new proportions for me. So I really enjoyed it. So 5 out of 5 stars. Yeah, that had snags, but it was overall really good. Then the next book out of my favorites was Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. Okay, and I really want to talk about this one. I feel like this book doesn't get enough recognition from very many people. This is a book about a bunch of teen girls who are on their way to a beauty pageant called Miss Teen Dream Pageant. And their plane goes down and they land on a deserted island. But the island isn't all it seems because there's something fishy going on that is very unethical. So, this novel is a satire novel. So, while this novel may look like it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of questionable because, like, their missiles or lipsticks, this novel itself, even, like, the cover, is a look on satire. There's objectification of women, there's topics that deal with racism and discrimination against blacks, people of ethnicity, LGBTQ, transgenders. There's all kind of different people that are in this pageant that we get to see slowly break out of this hard exterior shell and become real people. But not only that, but it also looks at the corporation and what a monopolized government and like businesses like Amazon and Apple, how much, if they get into bigger power, how bad it is. And I really enjoyed everything that this book looked at. I highly recommend it, like really recommend it. My next favorite book of the month was Love in the Afternoon by Lisa Kleypas. This I originally gave 4 stars when I read this like 4 or 5 years ago, but 5 stars now because let me tell you, as somebody who's almost an adult, this book spoke volumes to me. It is about Beatrix Hathaway, who is the most eccentric of the Hathaway family. Oh my god, just looking at it makes me feel things. So she's the type of person who can look at people and be like, yeah, you would be a tiger, you would be a rabbit. Her favorite pet that she owns is a hedgehog named Medusa. She rescues like helpless animals who would otherwise be killed by people or die on their own without her. And she ends up starting a correspondence with Christopher Phelan, who absolutely hates her, but she is under the name of Prudence, her friend, who originally started a correspondence with Christopher, but she's very superficial and she's like, he only wants to talk about death, who cares, da 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 da, this is not good enough. And so Beatrix feels like she's touched by his letters and she has to talk to him and let him know that he's not alone. And she ends up falling in love with him. And oh my god, dude, oh my god, this book, like, this is a great historical romance series, but just because it's a historical romance, do not let that deter you from this novel, or any of the Hathaway novels. These books are filled with so much depth and beauty within them that it's hard not to love these novels. Like, they're magnificent. They're really good novels. Like, just because it's under a historical romance doesn't mean it's any less of a novel than a novel like Game of Thrones. Definitely look into this one. And then the next book is Backlash by Sarah Gerard Littman. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This book takes a look at cyberbullying, catfishing, and attempted suicide. And this novel is also very different from like your typical Lifetime movie because not only do you get the point of view of the person who attempts the suicide because of cyberbullying, but you get a look at the person who is inflicting the cyberbullying and why it happened. And oh my god, the reasons for this are so petty. my god, these people. I was just like, so you destroyed a whole girl's life because of a stare. Okay. Let me not get into that because I'll just spoil the whole book. Next book I read was We Were Liars by E. Lockhart, and I gave this one 3.5 stars because I saw that twist coming from chapter 2. Not even, maybe like in the opening pages. Like, it's just, I get why people love it. I really do. Like, she's such an unreliable narrator, but I felt like there were a lot of inconsistencies with the writing and how the story flowed, and I was just not into it, I guess. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't enraptured in it like I hoped I would be. The next book I read was Gerard's Beauty by Marie Hall. I gave this one also 3.5 stars. I give a lot of 3.5 star ratings if you haven't noticed. And it's the second book in the Kingdom series. You don't have to read that series in order. They're a lot of fun. The first book in the series, Her Mad Hatter, is free on Amazon. They're just retelling. They're nothing special, but they're entertaining, and I enjoy them. And then the next book I read was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, which I gave 3.25 stars. I had a lot of problems with how overtly quirky this novel was. Like, it was trying too hard to be whimsical and different and give that weird vibe, but at the same time, like, I get why it's being all these things, because that's the point. But look, I'm gonna just be blunt. The cartoon is a lot better than this book. Like, the cartoon is here and this book is here. You be the judge of which one you would rather invest your time in. But I do recommend it if you are a fan of Alice in Wonderland. And then the next book I read was I Heart You, You Haunt Me by Lisa Schroeder. I gave this book 3 stars. It's about a girl whose boyfriend has recently passed away and he is haunting her. Now, this is a novel in free verse, so you can like really read it quickly. And I like the message of how if you feel guilty and you can't let your loved one go, then they're just as trapped as you are because you can't let them go. And I love like that message, but I wasn't a huge fan of how there was no character depth or depth at all, really. So, quick read. It's good. 3 stars. The next book and the final book out of the 9 that I read in August was A Curse of Ashton Iron by Christine Norris. And this is a Cinderella retelling about a girl who reunites with her long-lost best friend, and she's like, my stepmother is putting a spell on me and my father, and then she has to break the spell. And it's very cliche, and I didn't like a lot of where the book went. I had a lot of problems with it, but I can't really talk about it. I need to write it out in my review. Most of my problems were spoilers too. So, 2 stars, but thank you, NetGalley, for giving me the opportunity to read this book. So, that is my August wrap-up. Let me know below how many books you read in August. Link me to your wrap-ups, and don't forget to subscribe if you're interested, and bye!